This could be a really controversial one. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm gonna be talking about my top 4 things that I wish I knew at the start of my fitness journey. So let's start. Number 1, do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Have you ever heard of the saying, comparison is the thief of joy? Not to sound cliche or anything, but it's true. When I was starting out my fitness journey when I was 17 years old, I would literally look at like all the influencers that I looked up to at the time, and I was like, oh my goodness, I wanna look like them ASAP, like ASAP. And then doing that, comparing my starting journey, because I was literally just starting at the time. I obviously, being a newbie in the gym, didn't realize, because I'm like very naive, like, you know, like you're a teenager, you're new to the gym. Doesn't even matter if you're a teenager. If you're just new to your fitness journey, you see these people with body goals, right, online, and you're like automatically like, oh my goodness, I wanna look like them as soon as possible. Like for my summer vacation coming up in like 2 months. But realistically, progress takes so much time and so much consistency that when I would see their body goals, right, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that they were already 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years into their fitness journey. And I literally was just starting out. People think that like quick diet fads, quick fixes, quick workout fixes, whatever, is gonna get you your progress to look like this certain influencer's body, right, in like 2 months. When that influencer, right, has been looking like that, or that person with body goals, right, your fitness inspo, it literally took her 6 years to get to that point. When I was a beginner, I wish I knew that comparing my chapter 1 to these influencers that were already on their chapter 10 was like not doing me any good. Like it wasn't bringing me any sort of happiness. It was actually taking away from my like happiness with my progress. And like over the years, I started to realize that I shouldn't compare myself to anybody online. I shouldn't compare myself to people with like amazing bodies, you know, because my progress is my progress. And like my journey, I'm gonna take it one step at a time and be proud of my progress, no matter how big, no matter how small. And like when you start to love your own journey and stop comparing your journey to someone else's journey, you'll be so much more appreciative and like proud of yourself for all the progress that you are making at your own pace. So yes, do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. I can't stress that enough. I do want to preface this by saying it's great to have fitness inspos. It's great to have like, you know, goals in mind where it's like, oh, you know, like that's body goals. Like, you know what I mean? That's like somewhere around, I want to be that fit one day. I want to be that strong one day. But also keep in mind that comparing your body to someone else's body is not good, because genetics play a role. The amount of time that they've spent in the gym or exercising plays a role. Overall, right? At the end of the day, all I'm saying, just focus on you and your journey. Yes, it's good to have inspirations to give you that extra boost of motivation, but just don't compare you to someone else, and just really focus on you and your own journey, and like your progress will be so much more rewarding in the end. Number 2, lifting weights will not make you bulky. I wish I realized this, guys, when I first started out my fitness journey. Honestly, I thought that lifting weights in my first year of working out was seriously gonna make me look like a dude. Like I was like, nope, that's not gonna get me my glute goals. It's not, lifting weights is not gonna get me the nice glutes and the small waist and this and that. Like, no, it's not true. Lifting weights is so necessary to build a well-rounded, proportioned physique. I can't even stress that enough. And when I say it won't make you bulky, I truly am not lying to you. You guys have to understand that when it comes to lifting weights, there's certain styles of training, right? And like certain styles of training, you really would have to try to get that bulky look. That's your niche of training to even look bulky. Versus like there's certain rep ranges and certain styles of training, like my styles of training, right, which you guys see all the time, that will not make you bulky. Like I said, I started lifting weights in 2018, because 2017 I was just doing straight cardio. But 2018, when I was starting to familiarize myself with weightlifting, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 7 years. And I still am not bulky. Like lifting weights didn't make me bulky. In fact, it's gotten me my version of my goal physique. I have become my own body goals over the course of 7 years. Like when I used to look at other fitness influencers and, you know, when I was starting out my fitness journey and be like, oh, they're my body goals, I became my own body goals. I wasn't trying to look bulky, and I didn't end up getting bulky. Like at the time when you're starting, right? And if you guys are new and you're watching this and you're starting out your fitness journey and you're like hesitant to lift weights because you're just unfamiliar, right? Like you don't know if it'll make you look too wide, too muscular, like, you know, you're worried, right? I promise you, like I said, you really have to try to get bulky. It doesn't just happen by accident. Like lifting weights, just going to the gym 5 days a week and lifting weights, you're not just gonna, oh, in 2 years you're bulky. No, it's not gonna happen, guys. That's why there's some people literally on enhancements. Like there are people on enhancements because them lifting weights for X amount of years didn't do them any good. Like in their opinion, they wanted to get on enhancements because they felt like they weren't even just lifting weights and going the natural route wasn't even making them look bulky enough for them. So that's why people even go on enhancements. So even put that into perspective, like that's why lifting weights won't just randomly make you bulky, guys, I promise. And I feel like as a beginner, I wish that influencers at the time like were telling us as newbies that like lifting weights is so important. You know what I mean? Like for strength progression, for health, for strengthening, you know, lower back muscles, like things like compound exercises like deadlifts, right? You know how I always tell you guys in my videos, like deadlifts, conventional deadlifts in specific, are so good for strengthening your lower back, and you need a strong lower back because that's part of your core. Your whole trunk of your core, it includes your lower back, and like you need a strong core to help you not get injured and for your other lifts. It protects your spine, right? So things like lifting is also just like overall like preventing injury, right? Like deadlifts, hip thrusts to grow your glutes. At the time when I was starting my fitness journey, I wasn't hip thrusting. I was like, oh no. Hip thrusts are like one of the key exercises to glute growth, guys. That's what I like about this new era of information, I think, online, is that like, yes, although there's a lot of misinformation because there's like a huge saturation of information now, at least you can find that more influencers these days are telling you guys and encouraging you guys to lift weights and telling you not to be scared of lifting weights because it will help you get your version of your goal physique, because it's important. Number 3, you don't need to cut or bulk to see results. This could be a really controversial one. I just know some of you are gonna be coming at me, but I'm being dead serious. You really don't need to cut or bulk to see results. Why? Well, I'm living proof. I didn't cut or bulk to see any of the results that I have now. The way my body looks today, I didn't cut or bulk to do that. I will be very honest with you guys though. I did attempt one bulk in 2019 when I was still like making mistakes and fairly new into lifting weights. And I literally did that bulk for like 3 months. I didn't even cut or anything after that. I was like, this isn't for me. Like I attempted it, kind of like half-assed it. I was like, no, not doing this again. So I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't actually follow through with it. I didn't do any cuts. So basically I'm not into bulking or cutting. I know you guys see my what I eat in a day as a fit girl who doesn't cut or bulk videos all over my Instagram, all over my TikTok, all over my shorts. It shows like the realisticness of, I feel like, what majority of us love to eat and what majority of us, you know, do eat. I know that in the fitness world, you guys probably see a ton of videos of, I guess, like your fitness inspos and like just fitness influencers in general saying like, oh, I'm on my cut, I'm on my bulk, and they do like a series of like, I'm on my cutting series, I'm on my bulking series, right? And it can be like overwhelming, like as a newbie in the gym, right? Like when I was a newbie in the gym, I wish I knew that like, oh, like it's not necessary to cut or bulk. Like if that's not what you're into and you find it's overwhelming you and taking away from the joy of working out and the joy of your fitness journey, cut that shit out. You don't need to do it, honestly. Just my whole view on like food is I love food just as much as I love working out. Those are my like top 2 favorite hobbies. Eating with the people I love and working out. So no way in heck would I ever sacrifice my eating just so I could look a certain way. Like no, there's no way. Like I just can't. I love food so much and it makes me happy to share food with the people I love and to just eat food and enjoy it. And it brings me happiness on my fitness journey because like I said, my fitness journey is lifelong, right? And you guys should be your mindset with fitness too. It should be lifelong. It's not like a short-term thing where, oh, I'm gonna do it until I'm like 22 and then I'm done. No guys, it's a lifelong journey. Like you're in this for the long haul to be healthy mentally and to be healthy physically, right? And so imagine restricting and going through a constant bulking and cutting phase for the rest of your life until you're like 80 years old. Like, huh? It's not like, in my opinion, right? Like I said, this is my opinion, okay? I'm not taking away from anybody that does do cutting and bulking because I'm not saying it's not effective. Cutting and bulking is effective in certain niches, right? Like people that do bodybuilding, right? Like I understand you guys need to do cutting and bulking. Like I get it, right? Or people that are trying to do an extreme weight loss phase. I understand that you really need to be in a calorie deficit, aka you need to be cutting, right? But if you are fairly healthy, right, and you don't need to do an extreme weight loss or you're not competing, in my opinion, I feel like if you're just kind of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and an overall well-rounded physique and you're kind of fairly around your like physique goals, I think that just intuitively eating, approaching food with a balanced mindset, having some sort of portion control, like you don't need to binge eat like the whole thing of cookies. You could have like 4 cookies per night instead of having like a whole box of cookies per night, you know what I mean? Like just having like a very balanced approach to food food and that mindset is all you really need to sustain your long-term fitness goals. Like I said, I'm literally like living proof that I enjoy food. I eat whatever the heck I want, whenever the heck I want. I train 5 days a week, very balanced. And yeah, I don't cut or bulk. I eat 2,400 to 2,800 calories per day. I eat to fuel my workouts. I think that's what everyone, yes, that is it. Eat to fuel your workouts. That's what I wanted to talk about. I think everyone should literally eat to fuel their performance. Eat to fuel your workouts. Eat to fuel your performance. Eat to fuel your strength. Like just eat to fuel. You know what I mean? And when you start to like eat to fuel yourself, you'll feel so much better and so much stronger and so much happier. And you won't be constantly worried about like food and calorie tracking. And it's just like I said, long term, it's just not healthy. It's not sustainable. You're just gonna like get tired out and burnt out of doing all that. You know what I mean? And going through a cycle of restriction and high calories and restriction and high calories. Just approach everything with balance. Balance is key, guys. You gotta live in a state of balance, a state of equilibrium. And last but not least, let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do a part 2 of top things I wish I knew as a beginner in the gym. Let me know in the comments. But last but not least for this video, number 4, dedication is your best friend. Motivation is your fake friend. I've made a quick post about this on Instagram. I didn't really go into detail about it. It was just like on one of my posts. And I did say that dedication is your best friend and motivation is your fake friend, and not to rely on motivation ever. Because would you ever rely on a fake friend? No. Would you ever rely on your real true best friend? Yes, you would. You wouldn't rely on any of your superficial friends. You'd be like, I don't really have trust in this person, you know, that they'll like be there for me when I'm down, when they'll be there for me when I'm low. Motivation is the same way. I've explained this before. I had like a car chat one time on my Instagram story. It was very brief, but I basically said that motivation seriously is like your bestie from like fall, summer, spring, when the weather's okay, when the days are still a little bit longer, the sun is out more often, you know what I mean? It's not as cold. That's when motivation's at peak, I would say, right? And it's like, you know, you're having a great time. You and motivation are hanging out, you're having a good time, you're showing up to your workouts all the time. You're like, oh, like this is great. Like all your workouts are hitting, like nothing feels low and like, you know, like you have to drag yourself anywhere. Motivation abandons you as soon as the winter months come along. Like it's gone. It's like out of here, see you later, good luck. Honestly guys, like winter depression's like a real thing. Like especially, I live in Canada and the days get really short, the weather gets really, really cold, and it's dark, and it's gloomy, and it's snowy, and it's rainy, and you can just imagine the vibes, right? The vibes are low. The vibes are low for all of us living here in Canada, okay, around the winter months. Motivation is just not there. Who wants to go to the gym when it gets dark at like 3 p.m.? No. Or who wants to go to the gym in the morning if you're trying to do a morning workout and it's literally dark until 8 a.m.? Like it's still dark. Even if you do like a 6 a.m. workout, it's dark outside. Like it's just dark all the time. And then you have to attend your like 9 to 5, and that's the only time that it's bright. And then by the time it's 5 o'clock, you're going to the gym, it's dark again. So you can just imagine how unmotivating it can be in the winter, right? And then you have to brush off your car, brush off the snow, go in the rain. Oh, it sucks, guys. But dedication is your best friend, because motivation is like this, like that graph, and dedication is like this. It's like always steady. So even in the summer, you're dedicated. In the spring, you'll be dedicated. In the fall, you'll be dedicated. In the winter, you'll be dedicated, especially the winter, because when you have zero motivation in the winter, dedication will be your best friend. Like it will literally get you to the gym, because when you remember why you're dedicated to your goals, it will keep you disciplined to your goals. Disciplined with your fitness journey, right? And this doesn't just go for the gym. Like this goes for like anything. Like when your motivation dips, you don't feel motivated to do your homework. You don't feel motivated to show up to your 9 to 5. You don't feel motivated to get any side hustles done or do your hobbies like the gym, right? So this applies to everything. As a beginner, you have to understand when you're starting out in the gym or you start working out, everything's exciting and new. You see your newbie gains, you are excited with the new environment, right? You've only been in it for a couple months, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years. Like you're still new and you're like, oh, this is still exciting. But like I said, you'll be doing fitness for a long time. And the longer you are into your journey, you have to realize, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat this for you guys, and this isn't to scare anyone, this is just the reality of things. The longer you're into something, the more you'll be like, okay, this is feeling a little bit repetitive sometimes. It's just inevitable. Like sometimes you're just not always gonna be motivated. You're like, oh, I've been doing this for like 7 years. Like I don't wanna show up today on a random Wednesday. Like 7 years later into your fitness journey, you're gonna be like, oh, it's a Wednesday, I really don't wanna show up today. It's just inevitable, you know what I mean? Like you've been doing this, you've been consistent with your goals and good for you, but it's just like everything, right? Sometimes you just get a little bit like I'm feeling like it's repetitive today, I'm not motivated to go. Why I say to rely on dedication from the jump, if you are a beginner in the gym right now, I'm telling you, rely on dedication right now and get used to relying on dedication now instead of later, because dedication is gonna help you remember your why. Why did you start your journey? Imagine you're 7 years later, right? You're a beginner now, imagine 7 years later, you're like, I'm not motivated to do anything this week. I really don't wanna go to the gym. In that moment, you're gonna have to remember why. Why do I love working out? Why did I start my fitness journey? Why am I even here like 7 years later? Why have I done all this for the past 7 years? And when you remember your why, you're gonna be like, okay, that's why I'm dedicated. That's why I'm gonna show up today. I'm not gonna make excuses today. Like I said, there's a difference between making excuses and when you have low motivation, and that's when you start to make excuses. And there's also a difference when I know your body needs like extra rest, right? And you really truly need an extra rest day. But I feel like 8 times out of 10, it's just low motivation for people. And you really have to remember your why, like what's so important about this to me. I don't wanna speak on behalf of you guys, but I really genuinely think that like your journey is important because it's important to stay mentally and physically well. You know what I mean? Mentally and physically healthy for the rest of your life. Like who doesn't wanna feel good? Have you ever regretted a workout? No. Don't even lie to yourself. You've never regretted a workout, because every workout that I've done, I've never regretted. Even if it's a workout that was mid, I've never regretted it. I'm like, oh, I'm really happy I showed up for myself today. You'll be always happy that you showed up for yourself, even if you weren't motivated at all. And you know what's really funny is some of the days that I've been my least motivated to show up and I legitimately relied on dedication to drag my ass to the gym, those ended up being some of my best workouts to this day. Sometimes it ends up being my favorite amazing workouts. Like the glute pump is insane, the shoulder pump's insane, whatever it was, I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel good. Like I was productive, it was a great workout. And I was strong. So sometimes you need those days where you're like, dedication, get me there. I really don't want to show up mentally, but physically you're gonna drag yourself to the gym and you'll surprise yourself. You'll have a good workout. And even if it's not a good workout, you should be proud of yourself for showing up because you relied on dedication and you didn't skip, you didn't make excuses. So that's my spiel. Those are my top 4 things that I wish I knew as a beginner in the gym. And I really hope that this like resonates with you guys. And if you're a beginner in the gym, please share it with your other friends who are new to the gym and maybe need this advice and need to hear it from someone that's been in their fitness journey for 7-8 years. I really hope that this helps you guys out. And please let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more videos like this, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.